All right, here we are again. So here we are once more in the
So
playground
soon.
of the...
We don't do one of these for 3 years, and then
Right.
we do one right away.
We do two right in a row.
Yeah.
So, this is Ryan. I am David. This is the Fairly Sacred Music Channel. And today we are talking about remixes and remasters and...
Reissues.
Reissues. And
Reissues, remasters,
things-
and remixes, actually.
Yeah.
Is typically
Things-
the order that it goes.
Things that they've changed, things that they changed for the better, things that they changed for the worse, and
just the whole phenomena,
Yeah.
how things are reissued and how things are kept in print and across a pretty broad spectrum of stuff.
well, I'll say right off the bat, I used to blindly buy remasters, absolutely 100% of the time.
Yeah, assuming they were better every time.
And then for a long time, there were a couple companies that, or one company in particular, that I avoided like the plague. And then I kind of got over that because I was like, well, I don't have an A-B comparison of a lot of their stuff. So when it's the only way you can get something, you basically suck it up and get it.
Well, and in the rock and roll world and metal and in prog rock and a lot of different fields, but especially it seems that lost AOR melodic rock world in particular, the best reissues are all overseas. And the reasons is because the smaller markets overseas, whether it's the UK or Australia or Germany or Holland, any place these things are popular, the licensing issues are easy because they're issuing them in countries that have a very small market. Whereas if you want to reissue something in America,
It's hard.
it's hard.
to
It's
get
hard to get the licensing for it because the audience, somehow the audience, even though it's probably exactly the same, probably the same
Right.
people buying the UK reissues as would buy them in America,
Right.
and not much more. The idea that the market in America could be potentially so much higher for them keeps them from being reissued here. And that's not to say that nobody does here, but it's funny how many
They hold on to the license.
yeah,
it's
they hoard over them in ways
Right.
the exact same license holders, even in a different country, would be
give it willy-nilly.
would just give it to you because they're like, well, the Australian market for this, or it's just a limited license, it's 300, it's 500
Right.
pieces. We can do that, and we'll make a little money, and we'll keep this stuff active. And somebody out there is doing all this work to, if they're going to remaster them or whatever.
Right.
It's interesting. It's interesting how that works, and we got a lot of different boutique companies we'll talk about from different countries, and one particular one from America that David spent the day with today.
Right.
That
Well,
that really did a nice job and got super hosed.
so good. Over there, well, I'm going to send them on a wild goose chase. They are in alphabetical order, so you should be able to find them. My New Wave shelf. Can you grab the missing person stuff? Because that is the label that I think we should kind of call out first. So what happens with a lot of these license agreements, they will hold on to the license agreement. You can turn on that light above you to make it so much easier. Missing person.
I hate to do that. I own those. I should be able to find them. As you say, it's all alphabetical.
Right. So it's going to be right before the Noi, I mean.
Right.
Probably the next shelf up.
Make it on.
But,
Here we go.
so a lot of these labels will, if you're an American boutique company or a label like Rebellin, who we're going to talk about here.
Rebellin Remasters.
Rebellin Remasters. Who was?
He had a remaster right in the name.
Yeah. What is that guy's name? Something Davis, right?
I can't remember I should know his name, and I would know it if I heard it. But I admit, numbers, acronyms, and proper names are...
Well, he's going to be right here on the remastered by...
Oh, there you go.
God dang it.
Did his own mastering. Compression-free remastering.
Scott Davies. And he has a whole video series about the rise and fall of Rebellin
Remasters, yeah.
So he did Berlin's first two,
Yep.
He did.
Now, not really their first two. They're second and third.
Oh, okay. He did Divinals.
Yep.
He did
The early Divinals. He did Rick Ocasek's first solo album, which really didn't sound very good in its original pressing, and he brought that back to life. He did the entire Oingo Boingo catalog, including Danny Elfman's first solo album,
which was going for like $30-$40 at the time. And very hard to find.
That was a big save by him.
And the only thing he did not do with that Oingo Boingo collection, and I really wish he would have just done it at the same time,
was the live album.
Well,
he talked about the reasons why.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was very cool to feel like we knew this guy when you listen to him talk about something. He's completely transparent. Not about everything, because there were certain things in his dealings with the studios that he couldn't, with the labels that he couldn't talk about. After the fact, he's let it all go.
Basically.
But to keep in good relations with them, he wasn't just airing dirt on them unless it was, But he was very upfront with the process of what it's like to try and get rights. Yep. Mostly just get ignored.
All the hoops that he had to jump through to get them.
And the reasons why they were declined sometimes were were crazy. And his little podcast, his YouTube videos that he does are really, really, they're long and they go in depth of the whole deal, but they're really, really fascinating if you're into that sort of thing.
Yep. So let's just show you what he would basically copy the artwork as it was originally done. Do you know of anything that wasn't ever on a CD that he put out on a CD?
Well, these are that had never been on a CD.
Because I was looking at Oingo Boingo stuff.
I'm sure there were only vinyl and tape stuff but there weren't a lot. Most of it had been on some form of CD. But I mean, even these that you're about to show, the Missing Persons, which are among his best work. Phenomenal. Missing Persons just. It sounded good already, sounded amazing when he got his hands on them, and that's the most important thing. But not only that, he kept true to the original artwork, and yet he did it in this classy way that every time he could do something cool with it, he did. So he really knows CDs. He's like David and I, he prefers CDs.
Prefers jewel cases, too.
Although that fell by the wayside, sadly.
That fell by the wayside because people would complain that their CD cases were cracked. Fucking suck it up and just replace it. It's not that hard.
Would you rather get something cardboard in the mail that when you broke it you could never replace it? But they weren't getting it. We were getting it. CDs crack, and they crack in shipping. Half of the ones I get, or I have something wrong with them, or they've got a hinge broken off. That's part of shipping CDs around.
I won't show all of these, but
man, they're so good. These three albums with extra tunes. He always tried to fill out these discs with as much extra tunes as he could get the rights to do.
Yeah, like this one has 4 bonus tracks
from the original EP that came out beforehand.
Yep.
So that's basically the whole first chapter of Missing Persons.
This one had 3 bonus tracks,
some remixes and things for radio.
And then this one,
It's got some dance mixes and things as well.
Does it? Yeah.
Yep. That was a big dance.
It does have a lot of 10 through 14 are remasters, or bonus tracks.
And when we say remix in this case, we're talking about original 12-inch versions and original extended versions from the era. There's no the fact remixing going on with these.
So these are what remasters are. They take the original tapes.
These are the very best of what remasters can be. I'll go so far as to say he goes through his process too, and I'm not clever enough technical. What did we say when we were having our album mastered? It's witchcraft.
It is.
We do sort of understand some basics of it, but to really, it's something you have to have a feel for and a philosophy about, which Scott definitely had.
Sometimes
Scott, right?
A deep dive. Yeah, Scott Davies.
Yeah, he'll go into exactly what he does, but I know what these sounded like on the records. I know that in Missing Persons case, I know what they sounded like in their original CD form. I know what One Way Records did with them when they reissued them, and I know what these are. And these, I can't imagine these albums having more life, more clarity, more detail, and more personality than they have. And it's all comes from the original music because nothing's been tweaked or messed with, and nothing's been overdriven to the fact that you're missing anything. It's all there. It's just he
it
was
sounds
he's
so good.
just a master.
Those Oingo Boingos
No pun
sound so
intended.
good too. It just everything he did with like they were his own babies basically, and he pulled out some really obscure stuff like Visage and
Visage is not obscure. I mean, it may be in America.
in America, yeah, but like what was that other band? At the end there when he was going out of business and he was selling off things.
They were more obscure. I can't remember them, but they were the first group to come out in cardboard, so I didn't buy them.
Oh,
I literally didn't buy them because of cardboard.
I passed on them because I had bills at the time.
He's
so.
still selling them for like, and he has these sales because he's still got some of them in stock. He's still selling them for like $4.99.
Oh, really?
That's
closed.
No, I mean he's still open until he gets rid of stuff.
Oh, so go to Rebellion Remasters. It's spelt RUBELLAN Remasters. So you'll find some things. You won't find the missing persons.
No, there's most of the best stuff is out of print now. But
these actually came in a box originally too.
Yeah, slip box.
Did you get them?
I didn't need.
Yeah, I didn't need a slip box.
I didn't need the box.
I just got this. Slip box added what, $10 or something like that to it.
Yeah, and it was really nice. It was a hard cardboard slip box that held all 3 reissues together.
I should have got that. Maybe I'll get that. Sell these.
I'm content that I did.
Yeah, I am too.
So it wasn't so much to save that $10. I wanted to put those on my shelf, like we talked about last show, in order. I wanted them to mix nicely chronologically with the other missing person stuff that I had. Right. So I deliberately skipped the box so I wouldn't have a box in my way.
Right.
That box was lovely though. I mean, again, I can't think of anything he did where it's like I wouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah.
Or I wish he wouldn't do this.
The only time I disagreed with him was not just initially going for that live Oingo Boingo. Part of it's because I have the original, but I only have disc 1. Because I found it used and I thought it was the complete show and I bought it like that. And then when I found it again...
Well, it's a shame that set's not complete. I believe he always wanted to do it and it was his intention to do it.
Yeah. Well, he had said that he was going to do it. And then he's... but he did vinyl too. So if you are a vinyl person...
Near the end, basically, and I can't read his mind or I haven't heard him say this, but it just felt like to stay in business, keeping some vinyl people in the sphere... Yep. Because that's the people who really are interested in spending on stuff.
Well, you remember, so he would be pretty transparent, like Ryan said, about everything. At one point, they said no to so many licensings, or his bids or whatever you call them. Mm-hmm. They said you can only do these if they're vinyl, and he said, well, then I want all my money back because I don't want to be just a vinyl label. And he refused to be just a vinyl label. And then they said, okay, let's rethink of it. And then I think they agreed to it as long as he did vinyl and CDs. But that was so near the end that... Yeah. But yeah, so check them out.
He's still a professional music remaster. He's a master at doing stuff this era, so hopefully...
I think he's worked for Rock Candy, hasn't he?
I believe at least a couple of Cherry Red. It would be
Cherry Red.
It wouldn't be Rock Candy.
Yeah, he's worked for Cherry Red and probably Esoteric, maybe.
Possibly. I
don't know. Scott Davies.
He's awesome.
Davis. So check him out.
He's awesome. You go to his Discogs page. You go to Rebellion Remasters. You sort of you'll. Yep. There's some of his credits in there are not the label. They're the credited as remastered, and you can see some of the other things he's done for a few other labels. I've got a couple of them, but I don't have that many of them.
Yeah, I mean, I my initial, when we were talking about doing this show, and then today, my initial thing was, I think it was, what did I say? I feel blessed that we were able to be part of the whole Rebellion remaster thing, and I came in right a year or so after,
right when and a few of the more popular things at the beginning were starting to sell out.
Yeah, so I ended up having to buy from work the Rick Ocasek, but I went back and bought all the Divinal stuff, except for that collection I didn't get. I should have gotten that, but I got the Berlin, I got the Oingo Boingo, the Oingo Boingo stuff.
Whew.
I was waiting for that stuff. As soon as he
When
announced
Oingo
it.
Boingo was what, A&M? Is that who they were on originally?
I don't know. But
Sorry, Oingo Boingo superfans, if that's wrong, but I believe that's right. You know, those CDs sounded okay, but these, it's just
right.
And the same with the missing persons, and you know, same with most of this kind of stuff. Frankly, most '80s music, even the bad music, it's layered. It's got all kinds of stuff in it. You know, they just kept piling stuff on. They really knew how to work the stereo field, almost maybe too much in the '80s. But that's how they recorded this stuff. So having a remaster artist who understands all that and nurses that back to life was really, really special. So
for a remaster.
That second Missing Persons album, I mean, I'm just shocked every time I hear it. It's so good.
But if a mix is bad, there's nothing they can really do with a bad mix. But they can EQ it to make it sound a bit more even.
How many really bad mixes do you know?
Not very many.
I know of a few. I got Steve Winwood's, the album that originally had Valerie on it. I can't remember the name of that album, but he did. You know, the While You See a Chance album, and that was sort of his big solo debut where he started having top 40 hits.
Right.
His very next album's got a bunch of great songs on it, and it just sounds atrocious. Wang Chung's first album where they were Wang Chung.
Right.
Huang Chung.
And those are the remasters that sound, in the paper sleeves, that sound horrible, right?
Well, I don't know. The Wang Chung ones, right. Are that Korean company that remasters. Right. They're terrible.
I will say this, Peter Hamill, Future Now.
But that's an album that's actually mixed bad. Like, that's an album where somebody has to come in
and remix
and rethink the whole thing, or you're not going to get a good sounding thing out of that.
Peter Hamill, Future Now, and PH7. I think because they were very much home recordings and home mixes and stuff. I think those sound amazing with the Stephen W. Taylor remixes, but he also did them in 5.1, which 5.1, you might as well listen to that version. So
can't have 5.1 without remixing.
Nope, you cannot. So let's talk about a couple other labels really quick. I'm going to talk about this label, Brutal Planet. They are doing a lot of Christian artists, and this was Awful Truth, who was produced by Sam Taylor, and the drummer and the bass player went on to be in the Galactic Cowboys, Monty Colvin and Alan Doss.
Cool.
And then David Aller King was the vocalist and guitarist. So with these, they do a darn good version of the remasters because it's just tweaked a little bit, but you can't tell a ton. It might be just a smidge louder, but other than that, you're not getting tons of compression. You're not getting tons of distortion too, which we will talk about with that picture. So one thing I do like about this is the original Metal Blade version of the booklet, and then this is
you can see that was a blank interior,
right,
with a place for you to make your own notes.
Right.
If you wanted to.
So what are we supposed to do? Write the lyrics down in that blank page? All the lyrics. Look at how King's Xy they looked in this picture.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like a King's X and Glass Tiger had children.
Yeah. So that's Brutal Planet. They do a really good job in the mastering, but I've only been able to compare maybe two now. This I couldn't tell a ton of difference, which I mean arguably is a better than.
When the original album come out?
The original album came out in 1989.
So late 80s. So they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They weren't maximizing what you could do in a CD master, but they weren't.
Right.
That wasn't an album taken from 1972, put on a CD in 1987, and then dumped out. That's where they really didn't know what they were doing. Throughout the 80s, late 80s, CDs for the most part getting better mastering. Right. They were all sounding great.
If you even go into the 90s, you really don't even need to remaster most of those things.
Right, especially if they came out in the 90s.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
not just were mastered in the 90s, but came out then.
This is another one, 89. the band Royal Court of China, which was out of print for quite a long time. Bad Reputation. They're a French label. I don't know if they do a lot of kind of like more along the glam hair metal kind of stuff. But of course, this was on A&M. Speaking of A&M, and this, it's a little louder, a little bassier, but pretty darn good.
A&M's original albums and even their early reissues, like the Styx catalog, has never been remastered, or it has,
well,
but the albums themselves have not reissued them. BGO, if you want all but their top 4 biggest hit albums, you can get them.
The first 4 have been remastered as the Wooden Nickel, but not separate.
And
no. I have a copy of Styx 2 upstairs that says digitally remastered on the back of it.
Yeah, from RCA.
Yeah.
But that was the first time it was ever put out on CD, and RCA put that on everything that they put out on CD. At that time, that wasn't new at the time.
Oh.
So you really can't trust that RCA digitally remastered thing.
So the original has...
They're not lying, but it's just, it doesn't suggest that they've done anything with the audio that they wouldn't have done otherwise.
Can you tell me why, if you're going to do a booklet, you have the lyrics to one song out of 10 songs?
I've had booklets like that.
I hate it.
Why do they do that?
I don't understand it. Just don't even bother with the lyrics at that point.
That's weird.
I do like liner notes, and these do come with liner notes. The Brutal Planet stuff doesn't. We're going to talk really quick about this, and then you have...
Oh, yeah, I should do Melodic Rock Classics while we're sitting here. Before we get into rock.
Okay, go ahead.
Just because this
another guy
Melodic Rock Classics, Andrew McNeese is his name. Shout out to Andrew, because he does excellent work. He's not the remaster artist. He's got a guy who works for him. Maybe you can read that. My eyesight's not very good.
Remastered by Matthew Gerard,
who does most of his stuff or all of his stuff. I'm not 100% sure.
Honestly,
on that.
These are the 2 that I have. We'll show you how it's spelled.
Regatta,
and this is the second one. No Looking Back. Right?
Well, here's a cool thing about Melodic Rock Classics. If you like melodic rock, he really does these right. This is the original Regatta album, and actually, this is the only commercially released Regatta album. That second album didn't exist until Melodic Rock Classics got a hold of the sessions. So they look pretty cool, huh? Anyway, a really great Canadian.
What's the key song? What was that one called?
Well,
the one you put on my mixtape.
That lead off track. My favorite song of theirs is called "Wherever You Run," but their big hit in Canada was "This Is Love," which is not on your AORC. So that would be their key track if I had to cheer.
Oh, really? Okay.
I just like the other one a little bit better. It's got it's a little different for a melodic rock song. It's got that upbeat power pop energy to it.
Well, it sold me because they're both.
Yeah, you went out and bought both albums,
these were hard to freaking find too. They do have them on Amazon.
Sometimes when they first come out, it's part of why I was excited to share Regatta, because I didn't think of Andrew, until you mentioned who's that Australian company, because he's
struggling.
Yeah, they go into some deep dives. He's got some demo collections and a lot of unreleased stuff, like this second Regatta album that never was ever a thing, and so I don't really get into that stuff too much, but the actual reissues.
Although you did buy this, right?
Yeah, because I love Regatta, and that's got great stuff on it. You can tell it doesn't have that big label polish to it quite, but it's still the same kind of music from the same era. It's great. It was really good. But you had to prove to me that was.
Did I have to?
Well, I'm like, if it didn't get released, how good can it be?
Right.
I mean, if in 1991 a Canadian WIA didn't, we're gonna pay to make it and then not release it, there must have been something wrong with it. Of course, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that between 89 and 91, 92, the cultural landscape had changed so much in terms of rock and roll that they were interested only in who the next grunge band was. They didn't really care about these guys.
Right. What other bands that people would know do they do?
Oh man, you're kind of putting me on the
Sorry.
spot. There's, I mean, it's just because I got to think. There's so many of them though.
You can always go to melodicrockclassics.com and check
it out. He's got his full list again. You can always look up Regatta, look at the Melodic Rock Classics, click that MRC up in the top corner. It'll take you to all their releases.
At least they can see that one.
Yeah, but this one's not the album.
I know,
this is just a picture of some guys.
We'll hold it up like this.
It's very classy and cool, but yeah, it is pretty dark.
He does all the lyrics too. Band photos again.
To my knowledge, yeah, he always does. He does a little bit of what Rebellion does. He sort of recreates what he can. When he's got to create something from scratch, this is completely created from scratch. He does a pretty good job of keeping it relatively in time.
Right.
Man, I wish I could remember all the bands because there's so many of them, and I'm only going to remember a few. He released both Rio albums. That's a UK AOR band. I wish I could remember the one with the weird cover because that's such a fantastic band. He put out Van Stevenson's 3 solo albums. If you're into melodic rock, Van Stevenson's more of a, you know him more as a writer for other people, but he put out some really, really great albums. And I've just discovered so many cool Australian reissues with him, bands that I'd never heard of that are awesome. Obviously, the Australian stuff from his backyard, he knew who had heard on the radio, and we didn't necessarily hear that stuff. So, I can't remember. That's got like a Roman numeral 2 in their name.
He does a lot of stuff.
He does a lot of stuff. It's very much with an AOR bent. And it's really, really fantastic. And he's really having a tough time because of...
tariffs.
Yeah, it's not the tariffs specifically. The trade war that we're participating in, or really creating ourselves out of nothing as a country, is causing these small businesses in other countries. The cost of doing business with us is almost impossible.
Yep.
And it's the red tape that's really the problem. The cost, he could wrap his brain around. The things you got to sign and figure out, and the stuff you got to prove to get things through. And Andrew said himself, you know, the U.S. audience for this stuff is a big part of who he sells it to. He sells it to some resellers here, and he sells direct, and he needs to ship a couple of these at a time. He shipped my Regatta, came directly from him, the 2 of them. I typically buy from another cat here who buys all his stuff, Heavy Metal Museum.
Heavy Metal Museum.
You ever see Heavy Metal Museum on Discogs or on eBay? He's a really righteous seller.
Yep. You will get exactly what you order.
You got to pay a couple extra bucks, but you will get a well-packaged, well-thought-out, exactly as promised thing every time.
He's also on eBay, and I know Brendan Snyder will basically plug his eBay thing, but I always say
Andrew
go to Discogs because I think they get a better cut, probably.
That's where I typically do. Although I'll get it wherever he's got it.
Right.
I'll buy him from eBay if that's where he's listing. But yeah, I think that's right. Andrew, you know, sells to those people, and then they resell, and he ships these over. And he's just there. Stuff's getting returned at the door. Stuff's making it all the way to America and then being sent back.
Yeah.
His recent batch has got a bunch of cool stuff in it. But one of my favorite obscure AOR artists, Bernie LaBarge, Bargin' In, is part of that. And I've sort of been waiting. That has just been released, and yeah, Bernie LaBarge, Bargin' In. Hey,
go look at the Bernie LaBarge stuff.
It's pretty funny.
It's hilarious.
It's pretty. Bernie's got a sense of humor. He's definitely AOR, but he's got a little Huey Lewis in him. He's a little irreverent. Is what I would say.
Check those out.
Yeah, I've been waiting for those to come so that I can buy them from Heavy Metal Museum, like I always do. I might just have to buy them direct from Andrew, but at this point, I don't know if I'm even doing him any favors by doing that.
Right.
It's such a mess.
Yeah, there's a lot of
and
people.
he's a lot like Scott Davies, where he's, you know, you follow him on Facebook or whatever, he'll tell you what he's going through, and I just, I feel bummed because melodic rock classics, you know, like I say, all of it's not for me. I can't buy everything that's even vaguely related with melodic rock. I can't buy everybody's unreleased demos, especially if they were a songwriter for a living for a long time. Like, some of that stuff can be great, but
Bad Reputation does that too. They'll be like, hey, here's the actual album that they did, and here's a 2-disc set of demos and an unreleased EP and a live show.
Well, I'm glad,
which I think that's cool.
I'm glad you have the Regatta as an example, because they're a perfect example. The classic, lost classic AOR album from Canada, and then a whole nother album that you thought you had no idea existed. And both of them are filled out with extra songs, almost filling up the CD with everything that he could get of theirs from the record company. And he's able to do that. I mean, in a way, Australia has been a curse, but it's a blessing, because Canada's not doing this. Even they're not bothering with it. It's very cool that he is, and that he's getting that in the ears of people. And in terms of remastering, his remastering's a little compressed for my taste, but only a little. Mostly, it just sounds bright, fat, good. I would dial it back if I were him, just a touch. I would have his people do that, but at the same time, I don't want that bright, fun, punchy AOR sound to go away. They really do. That really does come through.
AOR is kind of like a tricky. It's a tricky genre, because you want things to be a little louder now, because you're so used to things being louder.
Right.
But Ambrosia is a good example. You don't want to have Ambrosia brick-walled. And if anybody knows about brick-walled, we'll show you what brick-walled
any more than you... Ambrosia are less like an AOR band, like Foreigner. They're more like Steely Dan. You really don't want to mess with the dynamics there, or you're destroying it.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree.
Another label that I remembered that we should talk about, and I've done a video of their stuff, is Dive Bomb Records. They're more metal leaning, but out of all the bands in the world, they did Slave Raiders Take the World by Storm. And the mastering on these are all done by a guy named, let me find his name. Where are you? Sorry. Well, I will figure... Oh, no, it's probably under here.
That'd be a great place to put information.
Yep. Jamie King at Basement Studios in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Thanks for your work, Jamie.
He does a fantastic job. Metal is a genre that you can give it a little bit too much bass, a little bit too much treble, and just ruin the whole master kind of thing. He does a great job every time, and I've actually asked him questions about recording or mastering and stuff like that, and he answers the email, and I was just like, wow, that's pretty cool, you know, because he does it where you can actually send in your stuff to do mastering. But like this originally never, I think it might have come out on CD once before, but it might have never been out, and it comes with all the lyrics, tons of liner notes. If there were not lyrics before, they have gone through and listened to the album and printed out the lyrics and wrote up lyrics. There was one artist that he was going to do that he had to just back out of it. I will tell you off the video who that was and how he talked about himself in third person. But
oh, I heard that story already.
Yeah.
Although I don't remember who it was, so I'll have to ask again.
If you can find this, it's a band called Cyclone Tempo, one of the greatest thrash bands ever, and they have a singer who actually sings. It is so good. But that's Dive Bomb Records. He has a ton of stuff. He's always having sales. Winter sales going on right now for 40% off. So the last label we need to talk about before we just get into a couple examples of
the reissue, remaster, remix, and this gets us into reissues a little bit.
Do you want to do Kansas
first? No, do those
this?
guys first. Kansas is a bit weird, so...
Right. So I have the original Scotty Brothers version of Lion, right? So they came out with this, and the weird thing,
if you haven't seen the Weird Al movie, Weird Al plays one of the Scotty brothers, in the movie, and it is really, really funny.
It's funny. So this
I have always pictured them a certain way, and it turns out, at least according to the Weird Al movie, which probably isn't 100% accurate,
probably not.
They are exactly as I imagined them.
This one came with lyrics. Sounded really good. I mean, this was a 1987 CD, though. So around that time, they weren't quite figuring.
Yeah, they weren't
CDs
exactly They weren't exactly using all the space they had and maximizing what they could do. But they certainly weren't mastering things too soft or too muffled or too cluttered.
It sounds great, though.
Right.
There's dynamic range there, and we'll show you a wave file. So
you can tell by looking at it that all you need to do to make it louder is turn up the volume.
Right.
There's nothing missing from that master.
No. And then you get the remaster, which then does not have lyrics. This is Rock Candy. That does not have lyrics, but it has tons of liner notes.
Yeah, the whole story of the band. Yeah. Rock Candy's really, really great.
They're really good at
the artwork side of things, and at telling the story and getting a nice essay that really puts the bands in context, which is great because they got a lot of obscure bands.
So this is I took the third song, Phone on Phone. So
action there.
I'm going to show you. The very top one is the same song. I think it's track 3. That's the original, just a flat transfer over from CD to a wave file. And you can see it has a lot of space up and down, a lot of dynamic range. The bottom one has 0. And where it hits that flat line at the top, that's what they call brick walling. And basically, you're taking all the dynamic range out.
Yeah, you can
all of the dynamic range.
It's nothing but a brick wall.
Yep, that's why it's called the brick walling effect. And this song in particular clips the bass. When the bass comes in, there are a couple spots where the brick clips.
And you can brick wall masters and prevent it from clicking very simply. I can do it at home. There's no reason you should ever buy a brick walled master that clips. Ever.
Yeah. It's Icon Night of the Crime is the exact same way compared to the Bear Tracks version.
And Rock Candy, you don't want to. Even though we're talking about remastering and they're the culprit, they're the worst culprits. They release a lot of music we really love. And they release a lot of lost albums that you can only buy them on CD from them. And they take such loving care with every aspect of how they do it. And they just are.
They're slightly fail with the actual audio.
Yeah, they're just way on the other side of the loudness wars that we're comfortable with, and it's almost always a disappointment. Not always a colossal disappointment like the Lion. That was really a bummer, but some version of that is what you get every time, and it can be really a bummer.
They have been. It's very hit and miss. When you do an A and B comparison, you can totally tell. But like the Kansas one that we're going to show.
Well, look, they also don't just release obscure things. They've got the license to reissue a lot of Sony held rights things in the UK. So Toto, Kenny Loggins.
Yep.
Kansas. We'll just show you that.
One other one I was going to talk about. Blue Murder, though. However. That version, the original version versus the Rock Candy version,
not that different.
There is such a very minor remaster difference.
Oh, again, though, late 80s and early 90s we're talking about from Warner Brothers.
Yep.
So it would have been pretty hotly mastered to begin with.
Right. But it sounds fantastic either way you get it. With the original, you get the lyrics. With the remaster, you get liner notes. I have to keep both of them because I am who I am, and there is no known cure.
Blue Murder. So Kansas's final album with Kerry Livgren, Drastic Measures. See if I can get the glare out. So you can actually see
that one
it.
had John Elefante singing.
It was John Elefante's second and also last album with Kansas.
You need to take the case out or the lid.
Yeah, that's probably the better. But you guys get the gist of it. Drastic Measures. Look it up. This actually is a pretty clever album. This is Kansas doing fairly straight up. It's adventurous, but fairly straight up AOR for the time. Right. These are pretty hard rockin' tunes.
One of my favorite songs.
Lots of synths for '84. What's your favorite?
Fight fire with fire.
Fight fire with fire. Oh, I almost sang it.
You can.
And then this is the Rock Candy. Rock Candy is very famous for their quarter the size of the case hype stickers, which are always attached to the thing.
I actually enjoy it now.
No, I'm the same way. Like when I get a used one or something and it doesn't come with the hype sticker, I'm always like, oh no, where's the sticker? It's weird what we get.
Sometimes
we were talking about slip sleeves last week. It's weird what your brain like gets used to and then needs to have to be satisfied, even when you would never want it in a previous life.
And there have been some Rock Candy hype stickers that are on the cellophane, and you cut it off, and you're like, "Oh, can I get this on? Can I get this off the plastic so I can put it on the actual jewel case again?" But you are going to talk in depth about that because we have not only a Rock Candy remaster, but we have the music on CD
version, which is just a straight up reissue of the original Columbia Records issue.
You'll be looking for that logo. Music on CD.
Music on CD doesn't pay to remaster anything.
They do music on vinyl too.
And it's called, the vinyl version is music on vinyl.
Yep.
They don't pay to remaster anything. Sometimes they issue something that is remastered, but only because that's what they're reissuing was remastered to begin with. Like they just are putting things back into the market that have been lost for some reason. They do limited prints, those sell out, and then they're rare again. But Music on CD does a really nice job. Again, I
have one thing to say about the print of Music on CD. They do not go out of print as quickly as all the other ones. Like, a lot of things come in print, remastered, and then they go out of print and you don't see them a year later. I probably can still get the Music on CD one, even though it was 2017. I'm more likely to be able to get that than
a lot of that is, and a lot of that I don't know what their print runs are. Maybe they are bigger. They're an international company,
right?
It may just be a case of they reissue things.
They make like 10,000 of them.
Well, that may be it, or it may simply be that they reissue things like Drastic Measures, which even for Kansas fans aren't something that they either don't already have or don't want for a reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's the case with all my Music on CD stuff. It's not stuff that flew off the shelf originally, and so it's not stuff that the reissue is going to fly off the shelf either. Right. That way, a limited run lasts a long time.
Well, and it's just nice that they bring things back into print that have just been out of print for so long.
But Rock Candy did a nice job with Drastic Measures, but it's a little deceptive because again, this was Columbia Records. This was Sony licensed to them, so those tend to be.
Let me see something.
Those tend to be, and it was a more recent one. Those tend to be, I don't know. Rock Candy tends to lay off of those a little bit. The Toto ones are still too hot for my taste. I much prefer the box set.
The box set.
Elliot Schreiner remasters. I think he knows the band and really knows what he's doing. And even before I'll go to Rock Candy, I would rather have the Japanese SHM versions because those are really nicely done as well. But David was saying, well, this sounds pretty good, the original master, but this original master was a remaster. This CD came out in the late 90s. It had never been issued on CD before. It was not issued on CD in 1984, and it was not a very popular Kansas album, so it didn't come out with the rest of the Kansas albums. The album before it and the album before that, Audio Visions, Vinyl Confessions, all came out at the same time. They all didn't have the red writing on the spine. They had this black writing.
So you really didn't need a quote-unquote remaster.
Because this was already mastered in sort of 1997 style.
Right.
By the studio. So when Music on CD puts this out, they're putting out something that isn't an original master from
vinyl.
Yeah, exactly, or whatever. From the early days, they're reissuing something that always sounded pretty great,
nice.
and sounded better than the other Kansas CDs did at that time.
So maybe that's why this sounds good because I was looking as you were talking. John Astley is the remaster guy on both of these albums.
Yeah.
So
he
and using the same 24-bit or whatever digital tools, POW/R technology, whatever that.
I think we could pull out any random Rock Candy and it would say John Astley. I don't think he did. I don't think he did all of them, but he's the big guy that does it for him.
There is one other guy, and I've tried to figure out
who's to blame.
Right.
Let's find who's responsible and throw him in the pit. That's where all the people in Willow's Village start chanting, "In the pit, in the pit."
I need to see Willow, and I need to see, and I have it over there.
Have you not seen Willow?
No, I've seen it in the theater when I saw it.
In 1988.
And same with Labyrinth. I think I saw Labyrinth in Living for the Future in 10th grade with that one teacher that said, "Hey, that's stinking thinking." I can't remember what his name was. But anyway.
Willow, God, I've seen it
Labyrinth
40 times since 1988.
I've never seen
Labyrinth I watch less, but it's fun.
Right. So maybe that's the reason why this is less abrasive.
Maybe, but they're clearly different masters. So I did the
are.
A and B with you, and I know I know this album really well because it's a favorite of mine. Unlike a lot of Kansas fans, I love.
But
this
we
album.
didn't cringe during this.
No, not at all.
We did not cringe.
So it
during
just
this.
shows you, we may have been using Rock Candy as a whipping boy example in the podcast, but not all their stuff is bad, and even their stuff that we wish was better. It's often the only way you can get it, and they're a great label as far as that goes. They really have kept the music alive, as they say, and I like them a lot. You would keep your drastic measures together.
A lot of good stuff. Do you got anything else over there?
I got the
over here.
Benatar over here. Do you want to just do that real quick?
We'll talk about Benatar. So,
well, Benatar's, we just did it in a way, but Pat Benatar is an example of someone who's had their catalog reissued.
Yep. CD. These are Universal Japan. And you can notice it always looks like Juicy without the J at the end of it.
Yeah, it always looks like Juicy without the J.
And if they did not originally have lyrics, this is what I like about this is you'll get this, so this was probably all that was in the original CD. I don't know. I don't have the original.
No, there was more than that.
Was there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there wasn't a big lyric sheet like this.
But you'll get all the lyrics in
But this
Japanese.
is probably what was in the record or close to it.
Oh, possibly. And then you'll get all the lyrics. And these sound great. These are just like the music on CD where they just kind of take, I guess, the best.
Yeah, in
version.
a way I gotta disagree. Pat Benatar's first 3 albums have been remastered by EMI and they sound amazing.
They do. But if
the rest
those
of her
are
albums they didn't bother with.
Right. But if they're going to do it, they might as well do it like this. I mean,
well, this company, Universal Japan, does a great job. Okay, let's just state that out front.
Right.
They didn't have they weren't given the budget to remaster it. They weren't given remasters to use, even though EMI probably somewhere has them. Because they've done box sets and stuff, and rarely. It's the same with Styx. The masters are probably done somewhere in a vault. They put out umpteen collections that have remastered sound on them. They would have
had to remaster all those things.
They almost certainly would have, especially in the case of that band who's got 7-8 songs per album.
Right.
You put out 2 greatest hits albums with 18 tracks on them. You've got half of every album they basically did for A&M on there. So why not just put out the rest of them? Well, it's a little late now. At some point they should have done that, just like they did with Supertramp and a bunch of other bands. Chrysalis, however, and now I'm not going after Universal Japan, not necessarily going after EMI parent company, but Chrysalis is terrible. And if you like a band like Pat Benatar that's on Chrysalis, you're going to get this. You're going to get some stupid hodgepodge, mismatched, something thing where they remaster part of it, not part of it. The masters aren't consistent. They put them out at different years. They put out 3 different remasters of Huey Lewis and the News' Sports, all of which sound different and all of which sound not very good.
But wait. But not within the same album. You're not going to get...
I just named one that was Sports.
No. But
Huey Lewis and the News' biggest album.
No, but you made it slightly sound like... Within this album, I would get different masters and different.
Oh no!
He's
never
from
within
album to album.
I don't know.
They wouldn't match.
I don't know that I've ever heard an album that had different mastering song to song.
Right. I was just saying because you were confusing me for a second there.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that with my verbiage. But yeah, he's right. Of course not.
From this album to this album, they might sound tremendously different. And this is also a Universal Japan album, also.
But Universal Japan was great. They got Pat Benatar back into print. Even though they're a Japanese label, they're sold very affordably in America, at least for a while.
These are the good...
The ones that were remastered, yeah.
The good ones, that, But
they should have done the whole...
They should have.
Chrysalis should have done the whole catalog like that. Even if it wasn't Pat Benatar's biggest selling album, you got Love is a Battlefield there, not remastered. You got Invincible, not remastered. You got We Belong. You got Shadows of the Night, not remastered. It's stupid. Those were big records in their day. Just because the CDs didn't sell as much when they came out later, there's no reason not to treat her catalog in this manner.
With some respect.
And leaving Uni Japan to pick up the pieces, basically, and at least get something out in the marketplace. So I'm a little annoyed. Her remasters sound great. Her original CDs, though, to be fair to Chrysalis, didn't sound that bad.
Right.
Some Chrysalis sounds pretty bad. Ice House, pretty bad. Huey Lewis and News doesn't sound bad, but really wildly inconsistent from record to record since he appeared before there were CDs, or before there were CDs.
Didn't Rock Candy do one of those? Did they do?
They might have.
4?
They might have. It wouldn't. But that's the other thing. Chrysalis will sell their rights to anybody. They just
right,
and that's how you get such inconsistency. Huey Lewis and News. His first 2 albums didn't sell like hotcakes, but you're talking about an artist that has a small amount of albums. They're all on the same label.
Right.
Treat them uniformly. Treat them with respect.
Put out a box set if you're gonna
put out one of those. Hell, I would take it at this point. Put out a clamshell box set.
Right.
Yeah, but
I think the Total box set does a really good job. Although I could have used a bit more. Wait, does it have liner notes in it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it has a liner. I could have used some lyrics, but
the way they did the individual album packaging, the lyrics were a challenge. But
I mean, they could have had a bigger booklet. One of my favorites is the Andrew Gold Cherry Red box. That actually tells you it doesn't just photocopy the vinyl. It'll be all the songs plus the bonus songs, because sometimes they'll give you the vinyl replica packaging, but it'll just be basically a photocopy of what the original record sleeve had.
Right, and then on a CD-size sleeve with the record sleeve print, which is already small, you can't.
Yeah,
it's there, but you can't.
And
read
then they'll
it
have like 4 bonus tracks, and they won't even list that on there. So you have to look at the booklet to find that at least. And Andrew Gold's also had
even that. When they do that, you can feel there's effort going on there, which I appreciate. But yeah, it's not very practical.
Andrew Gold's box set also came with a book, like a huge ass booklet.
Yeah.
This with all the lyrics. Each album has all the lyrics in there. But this is what I'm talking about. So instead of getting this, like a tiny shrunk down version of the thing, you'll actually get where they went in and they redid it, told you the bonus tracks, and I just like that. I think that was classy.
I think at minimum you need to do that.
Yeah, and just I was so worried about getting this because I was like, oh, is this going to be one of those shitty box sets that they've done where I get a poster and no liner notes and anything? And I believe I did an unboxing of this video. So
plus Andrew Gold, man.
Yeah, and it's everything.
Maybe I'll sing some Andrew Gold tomorrow if my tooth's feeling better.
Yeah. All right, so
don't let me drink from a straw tomorrow. Sorry to do that on the air, but I just want somebody. You got to.
Yeah, more than one. Yeah, tooth pulled.
Yeah, more, and they'll put that straw in front of me, and I'll just sit there and stick on it like I'm a 10-year-old.
No.
Get the straw.
Can I smack it out of your?
Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Just make me not do that.
No straw for you.
Gotta heal.
So we have. I'm gonna talk about where things get better and better as it goes, with mastering and remixing. Unless you have more labels.
An issue comes out. Let's just, at this halfway point, let's summarize here, right?
We're at 53 minutes, so we're not really at halfway.
No, but let's
hopefully you've been watching this in
an
double
album
time.
Comes out. If it's an album before the media's era, when it gets put out in that media, CD in in the 80s, for example, you're essentially reissuing it.
Right.
Or maybe it came out in the CD era. Great, then that's an original. That's going to be a different kind of mastering.
1976.
Then what they realized, and we talked about this last week, so I don't need to totally go over. But they realized they did a lot of going to the vaults, taking the existing masters they have, which were for an entire different format, slapping those on discs. Some of which worked okay, some of which didn't work so great.
That's what they call a flat master.
Yeah.
Right. So they didn't do anything EQ-wise, nothing They just said, okay, this is the master for the vinyl.
Not only that,
and
they,
cassette.
not only that, they weren't using the CD format to its maximum potential by using the same waveforms for vinyl, because they can handle different frequencies. There's a different way of doing it. So somewhere around, once they got good at putting regular albums out, like you said, in the late 80s, early 90s,
Right.
by the mid 90s to late 90s, when they started remastering things, those things really started to sound good. And of course, today, in an effort to sell more stuff, but also in an effort to revisit things that maybe people didn't like, or just in an effort to just give you something new to listen to with your favorite album, we've got the remix. So I just wanted to put those things in order. And
Right.
we'll do that in the title of the podcast. But
So we have...
because the things we're going to talk about now aren't just reissues and aren't just remasters. They go that extra step.
Yep. They go back to the original multi-tracks. So with a remaster, you can't mix anything. You can't turn the snare up or anything. With a remix, you're going back to the original multi-tracks. You're turning snares up. You're lowering this. You're raising this. You might even be bringing in something that they originally didn't have in the mix.
And it's crazy how much remastering really can change the way something feels and sounds.
Right.
But you're right. It doesn't change the mix.
Right.
It can't unless you have access to the mix.
Yeah. A remix sometimes can also be criticized when the, like with Megadeth first few albums, he went back and redid some of those vocals too, which I don't mind if he's like correcting things he didn't like in the past and maybe we didn't notice. I can't notice anything where he redid his vocals. People said stuff about the Genesis, the Peter Gabriel stuff, where he...
Well, they put out that Lamb Lies Down on Broadway 2-disc tour soundboard recordings, and Peter Gabriel didn't just go fix things. He
redid vocals,
He
right?
sang everything from scratch again in the 90s. So
are we talking about that big book box
the live
set?
stuff.
The
Ironic.
box set?
Yeah, the box set. That
Yeah, the
4-disc
archive?
box set. Yeah, the Archive Volume 1.
Yep.
That was the treasure trove on there. Was wow, here's a tour that wasn't very well documented, wasn't even considered very popular at the time. They found a great source to release it, and then again, you had Peter wasn't happy with how he sang it on the night.
So he went back and redid all those vocals.
Resang everything decades later.
Did they even say that
Yep.
in the liner notes?
Yes.
Okay. It's been a while since
They
I
didn't
looked at
quite
that.
advertise it, but they knew people would know. You know, these
Right.
kind of fans we're talking about, so they were very upfront about it.
You wanna
As a
know-
matter of fact, somewhere in the liner notes, it's Tony Banks who goes, and blah, 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 everything, and he does this whole bit of marketing almost. Everything preserved exactly like it was on the night, except, of course, the vocals.
Nice.
And it's this little English tag on the end of this
Right.
big, giant statement.
Right.
Except the vocals, which have all been completely changed.
Well, I listened to Thin Lizzy, Alive and Dangerous. Half of that album is redone in the studio too, but it was
Yeah, a lot
redone
of live
back then.
look, a lot of live albums were absolutely
redone
tweaked.
back then.
Were absolutely tweaked, especially from that era. So
Not 30 years later, though.
no, and hardly, yeah, exactly, and hardly ever just resung every note from scratch. But Peter's going to do what he's going to do, and that stuff still sounds great. It's still great to have.
So was that your out of that archive box set? Was that the kind of the cherry on top for you with that?
No, I like getting all the B-sides sounding
Oh.
good because none of those had been available in any digital format at all.
The cherry on top for me.
I like that.
was-
I like that 2-disc. You know, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, almost complete. That's amazing. But no, that's not my favorite thing about it. It's one of my favorites.
My favorite thing is the live version of Supper's Ready that I think was recorded at the same show that Genesis Live was recorded, right?
That sounds
I
right.
think so. But it was nice because Genesis Live is one of my favorite things by them ever. Because that was the first CD that I ever got by them.
Nice.
I don't know why. That is just weird.
That's weird,
and then
but sometimes
Foxtrot.
that's your portal into something.
Yeah. So, but
Hey, my portal into old Genesis was a Genesis tribute album that Kevin Gilbert was on.
oh, nice.
I mean, I'd heard the stuff, but I wasn't a big fan of it. Suddenly, I bought a tribute album. Now I'm hearing Robert Barry and Enchant and these bands I was listening to at the time doing old Genesis songs.
Oh,
Annie
nice.
Haslam does ripples on that album, really beautiful.
Was it the Supper's Ready, the Magna Carta one?
The Magna Carta one.
There was a great Rush one, Working Man.
Yep,
That
yep.
was really good.
So it So I'm no better. I'm no better. I'm much worse than you. Actually, at least you were listening to Genesis. My way of going. Oh, I got to go back and really pay attention to these,
Right.
and not just skim over them. And you know, it was that of all things that got me into it. Otherwise, I was just Phil Collins Genesis fan, really.
One thing with the Genesis stuff that a lot of fans do criticize is the original mix and those 90s masters are pretty much, if you can find them used, that's the way to go, because anything new that's being printed is the box set remixes and remasters. So
although if you want a tip from me,
great.
if you want a tip from me, just give yourself a break. Just buy the new remixes. Nick Davis, is it Nick Davis?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
I think they're great, but there's a lot of Genesis fans out there who
yeah, I know. It's a remix. Anytime you get a remix, they're going to drop something that you like. Something's going to be missing. Something's going to be where'd this come from? I mean, it was there the whole time, but a remix is a remix. But and again, not that. I might not be being fair to some of the stuff they did in the '70s albums, although I think they sound pretty great.
Yeah.
The Duke and Abacab, which were my two. I loved Genesis albums in the early 80s when I was 10, 12 years old.
Right.
Those albums, which were reed thin and tinny and always fairly abrasive, now have this warmth to them and this sort of amazingness to them, and they still have that bright, shiny sound to them. They just are amazing.
They have more girth.
Yeah, right, and it helps.
Yeah.
It helps. They're not warm albums. They're really electronic-y, bright albums, but they used to be just.
Well, which one has the song "Something by the Sea"? Right.
That "Home by the Sea." That's the next one, which was Genesis.
Oh, the solo album.
That was Hugh. That was Hugh Pagham. Was the first album he did with them.
Oh,
and he was an engineer. That album always sounded pretty great.
Yeah. Well, it's Hugh Pagham.
Look, they recorded Duke at Polar Studios, ABBA's studios.
Oh, nice.
In Stockholm, and that's a great studio. But even ABBA, until they were remastered, had a little bit of that. Exactly. Had a little bit of that. We're supposed to be discoing out to this, man. Where's the bass? Where is it?
Right.
It's there. I can hear it, but I don't feel it at all. And
I'm glad I got those remasters.
To me, he found just the perfect mix.
Nice.
So I love those remixes. I just wanted to say that, but it's true. A remix. We'll talk about a couple that are controversial. Certainly the Genesis ones are. All of them are and should be. And none of them really should be treated like they're the definitive versions. You're almost required to put the regular versions either out with them or at least keep them available somehow. Right. So that's the other reason I think the Genesis folks are a little annoyed, although they probably own it all.
Well, this next example is going to be great. So this came out in 1976 on vinyl and cassette, I assume. Vandergraaf Generator's Still Life. So they just basically did a flat transfer. This actually sounds pretty good. It's very bass heavy because there's a lot of organ on this album. Yeah. But when
and that's Caroline in the United States, but that was Virgin over in the UK.
Yeah, or Charisma.
Charisma isn't the same as Virgin, but they are the same. They're both EMI. They both ultimately became EMI.
Didn't Charisma start because of Vandergraaf Generator? Because he wanted to put Vandergraaf.
Possibly.
So in 2005, Peter Hamill went back and remastered all these. And these are the ones that you have. And these are the ones that people say are super brick-walled and harsh. And they're the ones where I fell in love with these albums. So I don't mind them. I think they're great. They sound great in a car, too, which is very good because there's a lot of dynamics. And even with the dynamics and this being pretty loud.
But there's a lot of compression on
great.
those.
Yeah.
And so I don't disagree with them. I just, in this case, it's not to ill effect to my ears.
Right. And the fact that you get a jewel case, and there's only 5 of them that have been individually put out like this. So they did a box set where they went back and remastered every album that
they hired a big gun to do it. I don't remember who did it.
Stephen W. Taylor.
Yeah.
And
he's about as good a recording engineer and
fantastic.
remaster as there is.
He redid all the Bebop Deluxe. He's done all the the Robin Trower stuff that they've done. But they did a big box set where they remastered all the Charisma albums, and then he remixed all the ones that they had in multi-tracks for, and did a new stereo mix, and then did a 5.1 mix. So this version has a lot of stuff. I'll let you see that. You can pause that if you want. But it has disc 1 is the original stereo mix remastered by Stephen W. Taylor. So he went back to the master tapes. And then disc 2 is the new stereo mix by him, where he remixed it, remastered it, or technically mastered it for the first time then. And then
mastered his remix.
Yeah, and then there's disc 3, which is a DVD, which has a high resolution 5.1 surround sound mix, new stereo mix, and the original
all on the
mix,
DVD.
all on the DVD. To me, that is where this thing is necessary, because those 5.1 mixes for this album is so great. Same thing with the Peter Hamill 2 that he did. What I don't like is this packaging is, I mean, it has a slipcase, which is kind of cool.
Slipcases help keep your digipacks together.
Right. But
I got to slide those out of there.
Yeah, they're really, really tight in here, and you have to slide them through here. I won't even do it. But the only one that I don't own is H to He Who Am the Only One. Mm-hmm. I love that title.
I can't even say it.
H to He Who Am the Only One.
I can get on H to He, but then I'm like, is there something?
And my favorite album title of theirs, The Least We Could Do Is Wave to Each Other. But after that box set, then they came out with World Record. So they did 4 albums. They did H to He. So I have it in Blu-ray, but these are DVDs. So I really actually like, because I can play the DVD on, well, at one point I couldn't play the 5.1 surround sounds on everything in my house. Now I can. But, shit, why did I even take it out? There we go. That's a nice
but while
thing.
with video, you're sacrificing something with DVD,
right.
With audio codecs, you are not. There's plenty of room on DVD for the same great sounding stuff that's on Blu-ray. If there is a video component to it, though, Blu-ray
right, but
Blu-ray's better.
There's really not a video component that I give
other than a menu or whatever.
Yeah, or like
stuff,
whatever that they have playing in the background.
Yep.
Just so
stuff.
If you're gonna get Van de Graaff generator stuff, try to get those 3 disc ones. Otherwise, get the box set. The box set is fantastic, except for the weird packaging that, has you slide the things in and out.
Which off our stage hath shown.
Yes. We talked about the bullshit that is the Tracks box set, and then
from a packaging standpoint,
the great box set, which is the Nebraska. This is 4 discs. One is a Blu-ray disc, and actually no, this is 5 discs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Of course, like we said before, Blu-ray, a little bit more delicate, so they have like an actual CD or case on that. This is how I think all of this shit should be. I mean, if you're going to do a package like
5 discs, you gotta probably do something. Yeah.
Right. But this isn't that monstrosity that Tracks one was. Mm-hmm. It has still a great booklet in it, and you're getting 5 discs. So good job on this. Who is that? Columbia? No.
Yeah.
Columbia.
That's Sony.
So the last thing
Columbia now owned by Sony.
Last thing we will talk about is Marillion's Holidays in Eden, which we've talked about at length before. But there are 2 different covers. This is the American cover. I don't know why I don't listen to my own advice. This is the American cover. And this is the British cover.
With a little little border around it.
Yeah, which if I flipped over, it also has that. These booklets were horrible to get in and out, and they have seen That's why I don't really look at the booklets on these.
Pretty
anymore.
fat for jewel cases, but the real thing that harmed them were they had the little nubs instead of the strips,
Yeah. Yep.
and that'll work away at your stuff over time.
Yeah, it's a shame. But so we got the original mix, or sorry, original mix and remaster.
Because we all love a nice big booklet.
Right.
That ain't the problem.
This actually was kind of cool because this had 2 bonus tracks that weren't on the original European mix. So this originally had 10 songs on it, and How Can It Hurt and Collection were the 2 that weren't on.
Yeah, they were B-sides.
Yeah. Then they did remasters in 98.
Yep, I think that's right.
And yep,
24-bit remasters.
And these things sounded great.
Yeah.
They really did not leave anything out. Great lyrics.
Great bonus content.
Liner notes, lyrics. Talked about what all the bonus content was. Even had on their album the last one with Fish, had demos that would become lyrics for the Fish's first solo album and
music for Marillion's first album without Fish.
Yeah. And then we get...
But they were exhaustive. They were really, really wonderful.
Yeah. Then we get to...
Turns out there was still more to release, so we got a singles collection.
Yep.
And some other things, but those, when they came out, were just a treasure trove, and they were clearly done by somebody who loves the band.
Yes. Later on, they weren't... There are certain misses with these.
These started out great.
They started out fantastic, and I felt that EMI were...
And it's not like they ended in the shitter, but they just... however they were doing them at the start, they decided some of the great things they were doing to keep them comprehensive, they just didn't need. And so then again, we got them in a sort of ununiform way.
All the books are like this, though.
The books are, for that size book, they are really lovely.
Yep.
They have these really annoying FBI warnings from the UK on the side.
Oh, and on the front, right there.
Yeah, why not? Why not have them on the front, back, and the side?
Right.
It's too bad too, because the first 2 they put out
were those stickers.
It were Season's End and either Season's End and Clutching or Season's End and Misplaced, and those don't have them.
Oh, really?
On the spines.
Well, but these were moderate sex references.
Yeah,
so
they got in trouble for not having them on those, and they're on all the rest of them.
Yep. But I really do like this cover quite a bit. I wish this was.
Well,
better.
that's the artwork without any of the print on it.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
That's actually part of both of those other covers, but it's more naked here, and you can really see what it is. Plus, I think on this style material, it just looks great.
Yeah,
it looks more like the piece of fine art that it is.
So,
I have that hanging in my apartment.
So with this, we get the 2022 remix. Who did the remix on these?
It varied, but so I don't know who did it, but I would guess Michael Hunter did it.
And then
that's a guess, but I'm pretty sure on Holidays it would have been Hunter.
Yeah, so you get disc 1 is Holidays in Eden 2022 remix. Disc 2 is Live in Hammersmith from 91, which is key because then by the time they did Season's End, the live show is from 2007 or something like that.
It was an anniversary show.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It was just ridiculous. So you get disc 1, 2, and 3 is
which is too bad because we know they have both. We know for a fact they have both the Ipanema and the whatever the other concert in London is, the Forum concert or whatever.
Right.
We know they have full boards of that because they were shot professionally video wise.
Well, yeah, that's the one where they start with
that show
Little
on.
Drummer Boy.
Yeah, with O Come O Come Emmanuel.
Okay, Emmanuel, yeah.
Although they always start Season End with it.
Yeah, but
live, I don't think it's ever been done any other way.
That's kind of how they stumbled with these box sets. Is they stopped doing shows that.
Well, and fans have asked the band, well, why don't you put the 24-bit on the new one, on the latest ones, like you did on the earlier ones? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? He goes, that's what Warner Brothers wanted. This is what Warner Brothers wanted. These were put out by Warner Brothers as the parent company, and Marillion, to get them out, just cooperated with every request. They're like, why'd you put the bonus tracks on the DVD? Why can't I have those on a CD somewhere in here so I can take them with me? They're important. I mean, the B-sides are important. You go listen to our Marillion shows of those early albums. By early, I mean the first 6 albums. B-sides are important. And they're all kind of they're there, but they're hidden in there in a way that is not always practical. Right. But you want to put them on the DVD. You want to put them on the DVD, great. The music that is available has to be on the CD.
The plus side is there's that box set, and they've been a lot of them were also put on the second disc.
Yeah, right? If you have this and this, you have it all.
Right, on audio disc. Yeah.
Yeah, truly. So they're very complementary to each other, but there was a way to do these big multi-disc box sets.
Right.
So that 24-bit remaster could be superfluous or just be kept around for the liner notes or whatever.
Well, and then these have huge liner notes that are super comprehensive.
Oh yeah, and making of retro documentaries.
Yep.
Of every album, which are fantastically produced.
Yep.
So they're a super fan.
Did I tell you that?
They're a super fan.
Did I tell you that?
Dream. Marillion's my favorite band, so I love these.
Did I tell you that Glenn?
But it's a good example of something. Whereas if I didn't love them as much,
you would be bitchy about it.
I either that or I would just flat out wouldn't buy them. I got that thing. What do I need them for?
Right.
I already got a 2-disc collection with outtakes. What do I need?
Right. Glenn borrowed every DVD
to
watch all the
and learned all his Marillion that he needs to know now.
Well, and he has everything on. That's Glenn's problem is he gets vinyl and he has all of the remixes on vinyl. All they had to do is slide a disc in there with it, you know. Let's talk about the remixes on this. So there's a song called 100 Nights, and if you go and listen to that, the end of 100 Nights, he does this China thing where he goes, don't
China thing. Maybe be a little more specific.
Right. So China Cymbals has a very specific sound, and it has that.
That's the one where Ian does the China thing.
Right. It's kind of an upside down cymbal, and you'll notice it because it sounds nothing like any other Crash cymbal. But he does a part where he's really, it's very accentuated.
I know, well.
And it's fantastic on the original. But then if you listen to the remix.
And on the 24-bit remaster, it's right there where it belongs.
Yep, still right there. The remix, I don't know if they took a different take. Didn't he record this album without recording the cymbals with it?
I can't tell you that or not.
I know he
maybe something true. It was a very different. Holidays in Eden was produced by Christopher Neal, a very commercial director, and it was done in a very different way than they were used to.
And he used a set. He used a drum set that he didn't like.
That actually was assigned to him by the producer. Yeah. That's right. He didn't use his own drums.
Honestly, I will say I love this album. It is my favorite Hogarth era album. So
I like it a lot too. It has a commercial sheen to it. But
this was your introduction, wasn't it?
I really it was. I really believe that that's what they wanted. They wanted to make hits that were going to be on the radio, and
they did.
I feel like they made them as good as they could, and it just wasn't meant for them.
They're not a band that you can market in the U.S.
Oh yeah, no.
Although no one can take you away from me, or no one can. I was walking through Dayton's. And they had video monitors that played music videos. And I walked through. I've never stopped in a store and watched a video.
This story is in our deep dive on this album, too.
And they were playing that in a Dayton's. I thought it was fantastic.
I had the same experience, although I would have swore it was Sears. But clearly it was either Dayton's or Sears. And we were both in the same mall. And it was on one of the, like in the clothing department, it was on their little promo videos playing on the TVs.
Yeah.
Like, isn't this hip and
Wait,
cool?
Which one had Ticketmaster upstairs?
Oh, is that the answer? Because that's why you were there.
Yeah. Was it Dayton's?
I think that was Dayton's.
Yeah.
So you're probably right.
Way to go, Dayton's.
Sears had my girlfriend downstairs. So.
No, nice. So that's the one downfall of a remix in this case is don't change things too much because, I mean...
Hey, look, if you're going to remix it. I don't know.
Right. But don't take something so important to that song. I would like to talk to Ian and say, hey, did you have any say in that, and be like, did you say, I've never been really that jazzed about that China part, and I think I overdid it? I can understand that, because there are a lot of drum parts where I'm just like, why did I hit that snare so hard in that spot? And I can't go back and remix type of thing.
But remixes are always fun. They're always a different way to listen to an album that you've heard probably a million times before, especially if you're buying these big sets. One presumes you love the album, love the band. But they do with the Genesis, which I think are barely remixed. I've never heard anything missing from those, but they do have a different feel and sound to them.
Right.
Different dynamic to them, I guess I would say.
Sometimes they'll bring things up, like Jethro Tull's Aqualung. There's Mellotron in there.
When we do the Fish solo albums, we'll talk about the Fish special editions as we go, and John, the legend and the late great John Giblin's fretless bass on
Neutered
on Vigil in a Wilderness of Mirrors is just it's been remixed into oblivion.
Yeah, it's buried so deep, and it used to be so perfectly mixed and rubbery and just wow. Yeah.
Wow. Chris Kimsey produced that. No, he produced the second one. I don't remember who produced that one. Kimsey came back and did Internal Exile for him.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was a pretty big time producer, both those first two albums of Fish's.
Hopefully an hour and 20 minutes is not too long. Somebody said we ramble on quite a bit.
He said he liked how we rambled.
Oh, did he? Okay.
That was the exact phrase. The word ramble definitely was dropped on us, and not inappropriately. But I believe he said, hey, I like the way you guys ramble on and on, or something like that. And I'm like, well, at least he likes it.
Right. I thought he said, you guys sure do ramble on.
No, I think we'll have to double check the comments. But
we'll have to go back.
We rambled in this one, too.
We did.
You can start getting out these specific examples. It's hard not to just talk about the music, and then you get sidetracked into hearing the same. We walked through Brookdale Mall and heard Marillion in a department store story. At least we both have one, so that's a shared experience. Sweet.
I think we were more focused in giving you information.
That was the mission tonight. Be more focused, and even if we were just a little more focused, it was worth focusing.
Right. So, but it wasn't hocus pocus, was it?
It's never going to be truly focused. There's no yodeling involved, for example.
Yodeling. All right.
Check out Focus. Great Dutch band.
Yes. Give us ideas of what you might want us to talk about.
Yeah, in terms of collecting and stuff.
That would be awesome.
We're going to try and get back to Marillion, at least do the next Marillion show, if not the one after that.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well go through to the end, but...
I'm just a little nervous what I'll just be like, what's that one again?
Right.
I don't want to sit here and go, I don't remember that. What's that?
It takes a lot of work to go through those last...
But hey, those of you who care about Marillion and got to the end of this video somehow...
Yep.
Marbles, Somewhere Else, Happiness is the Road, and Less is More. Those would be the next Marillion albums. That's there's a lot to talk about there for sure.
Less is More is a little easier because it's just...
Yep. All we got to do is call out the exclusive track and just say what we think about it, what our favorite thing is, or whatever. We don't have to go through that song by song. One
last thing is... one thing that I don't like about like greatest hits collections, because you had mentioned greatest hits collections with Toto, and let's talk about Tears for Fears, where you're like, oh shit, I got to get this for this one song, and then they do another greatest hits collection. It has two songs on it.
Well, Tears for Fears in the bonus tracks. I don't mind. Oh, in 1992 they put a hits collection out and put an exclusive song on it. It was their first ever hits collection. They wanted to have you have a reason to buy it. Like that all makes sense. The fact that they're doing it now, the fact that every album of theirs comes out with 3 different editions that have 3 different track listings on it, so you have to buy them all, or you can just buy one as long as it's the Japanese version that costs 4 times as much. For 4 times as much, you can have 3 times the albums.
Well, and the funny thing is, you bought that last Tears for Fears thinking you got all the bonus tracks, then found out that there was another one with a fourth or fifth bonus track. So he had to angrily buy that version, and they just gave this to me. He said, "Here, take it out of my hands." I appreciate it.
I'm happy to give it to you, but there comes a point where stop and think about what you're doing.
And
I like Tears for
Fears.
About your fans. I like Tears for Fears a great deal. I want every track.
Right.
I will pay a few extra bucks to get it. I will buy it from a special place. tell me where that is and make that doable.
Right.
And it'll be fine. Don't
have it kind of secretive and make it known. That would, what was the other thing
that's painful. So when you talk about Tears for Fears, yes, the greatest hits albums can be problematic.
Right.
But there's 10 of them, and there's only 3 ever
that have
exclusive tracks on it. There were only 3 ever exclusive tracks, and 2 of them are on the same one, with the one you just got.
Right.
So you just need to find that other song that's hidden
Right.
out there, and you can buy that on any number of collections.
I technically need that 4 or 5 disc bonus thing too, but
bonus tracks are great. If you really love the band, you hate to be without them. But
Right.
what I really resent is spreading. I mean, these are, you released a live album with 5 studio tracks available, and
Right.
3 of the versions have different assortment of those tracks. I mean, that's really difficult.
It's kind of dickish.
It's rough. And their studio album was the same. 3 total bonus tracks, 1 for each edition, and the only one that had all of them, again, a Japanese import, a limited edition that cost more than just buying the 3 albums in the United States. I mean, that's
ridiculous.
That's absurd and frustrating.
So ridiculous.
So, but I get why they do it, but
at least it's
you're
not
killing
like
me.
Steven Wilson, who puts out an album, has 3 or 4 bonus tracks, but you could only get them if you got the huge, ginormous box set.
You could download them easily, to his credit.
Right.
You could stream them easily, but yes,
But
if
if
you
you
wanted
want
to own them
physical-
on physical media, you had to buy a 5-disc set, which included 1 disc that just is the instrumental version of the album, and is in such special, absurd packaging that it shot the price up to hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
I was this close in getting it, though.
I want it too. Look, I want it all, but I can't afford it.
I wanted it for the 5.1 mix.
I'm getting a dental implant.
Yeah.
It costs more than my car.
All right.
You can't buy everything.
You can.
Take it easy on us. Russia's Grace Under Pressure, they're putting a new special edition
Oh
out.
my God.
And it's $300.
$300. Screw you guys. And that's Anthem. That's Anthem.
I'm not ready to say screw you guys, but that's a lot, man. If Rush isn't your absolute favorite band and you only buy Rush and you only listen to Rush, that's a really major financial commitment.
Well, and considering they've done the same stuff
for much less previously.
Farewell to Kings, Moving Pictures, 2112.
Signals, right?
Yeah, everything. Yeah. No, Signals got screwed over.
No. Poor
Didn't they-
Signals.
Yeah, Signals. Yeah, they dropped the ball on Signals. So, I don't know. I'm hoping they put out like a 3-disc set where I can have it in 5.1. Because Grace Under Pressure is one of my favorite Rush albums. So
we like collecting, and we like collecting these special editions and stuff. And we don't expect them to be free.
no,
We're
willing to pay.
Just think about what is the costs, what's driving up the cost here, and is that worth it? And is there a way to sell this where people can get the music for some reasonable amount of money?
Well, that's-
otherwise, those bonus tracks as enticements and stuff. Because David said, "Man, this was Tears for Fears." He says to me, "Man, sometimes you just gotta let those bonus tracks go. you just gotta let them go." And I agree. Sometimes you do, and sometimes you can't. So don't make it financial torture, especially in this day and age.
The one thing with
Still buy things that you get the greater cut of. You should be invested in that.
the Grace Under Pressure is on Anthem, right?
Yeah.
Because they have all this stuff, and Anthem is their label, right?
Right.
So they're making those decisions.
Yes.
It's not like, Universal or EMI or whatever is doing it. They're making those decisions.
In the case of Rush.
Yeah, at least having some say in how it's
In the case of
packaged and
Marillion, they had involvement, but they weren't calling all the shots, as they openly admitted to.
where I feel that Rush is, and it's just like it's almost like it's kind of like a slap in the face to fans that would really like that stuff but can't afford a huge box set like that. So if anybody in the Rush camp sees this, put out a 3-disc set so they're affordable, or a 4-disc set, or something pared down. Jesus, I mean, even Bruce learned.
Or
his
look,
lesson.
if it's a set, whatever it is, maybe if it really is the big, crazy, weird, lenticular, 5-layered, clear slip sleeve, square,
right.
you know what I mean, perfectly cubical packaging, that's causing the problem, then maybe that part of it is not so important as your music.
Yep. 1 hour and 29 minutes.
Is that an improvement? I can't remember.
No, it's even worse than the last one.
Well, we had
It's
a lot.
longer.
We had a lot to talk about. I do believe we were more focused, even if we did run
Right.
longer.
Hopefully you like this. Give us some feedback. We'll do more.
Next time we think of something.
Right. All right. I'm going to turn you off now at 29, 30, 40, 1,